welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge, and today we're going to look at a secret of how you can unwind quickly after a long day's work. When you've been running around all day wearing high shoes in the heat, your feet are likely to get very tired and even to ache. Sometimes all you need is just a quick foot soak using salt and water. And the water should be warm or room temperature water. Once you soak your feet in the water, you will get instant relief. Magically, your feet will just begin to feel better. This is because salt contains minerals which help to relax your skin, and they also act as a pain reliever. So what you need to do is take your salt and add a spoonful like this into warm water. Dissolve it in the warm water in a basin and ensure that the salt is mixed well into the water. This takes just a minute. When you soak your feet in salty water, the salt works to relieve aches and pains because it has some minerals which are very useful for that. This is a quick home remedy that works instantly and quickly. You feel better immediately, and all you need is just these cost-effective measures. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
Wise2 is an acclaimed Kenyan street artist and muralist. He has created works in public spaces around the world, and his latest collaboration is on a prestigious campaign design in Kenya. Wise2 will be on the show this Friday with Shiksha Arora, right here on Easy Friday on KBC Channel 1.
My name is Mohammed Ahmed Mohammed, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC. The corporation recently increased the protected sum from the previous 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings per account. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. In effect, the corporation now covers 99% of the depositors in the unlikely event of a closure of a bank. So KDIC encourages the depositors to continue doing business with our banks that are strong and resilient.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
And a very good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us. This is Easy Friday. On this day, the 3rd day of December 2021. It's a day that's recognized by the United Nations to recognize and look at the issues dealing with persons with disabilities. The president, that's Uhuru Kenyatta, has a message to employers in regards to that. What is that message you're looking at? To learn, of course, at the stories. Shiksha, good evening to you.
Thank you. And of course, welcome to the hashtag is Easy Friday. The show is Easy Friday. Talk to us on social media at KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora, at John_Kago_M. Tell us how your December has begun. The first Saturday.
Yep, Friday here.
Yeah, I see mine is already forwarded to the weekend.
There are a couple of Fridays in this month, yes.
Right here, we keep things easy. Remember, we'll be bringing you up to speed with the top stories of the day. Later on Spotlight, we'll also be talking to one of Kenya's finest artists. He's internationally recognized. He's known as Wise2. He has his murals in over 15 countries across the world, and he's about to show us his talent.
Oh, that's quite a feat. You need to stick around for that, and it's a race against time. That's INCIA's rescuers are trying to save 8 men. They are in a mine as we speak. This happened yesterday afternoon, so we are praying for their families as well. That's a story we're looking at not too long. First things first, you have the highlights.
Absolutely.
Bondo mine tragedy. Rescue teams race against time to save 8 trapped in mine.
We take cognizance of the fact that the theme for this year's celebration also resonates well with our government's commitments to promote inclusion of persons with disabilities in the development agenda.
Leaving no one behind. President Uhuru Kenyatta commits to disability mainstreaming.
I strongly support your belief in a future where the lives of all Kenyans, especially women and children, count.
And you hate sea heroes. First Lady Margaret Kenyatta honors nurses and midwives for the contribution in health campaign.
All right, welcome back to Easy Friday, our top story of the day, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has asked employers to accord persons with disability equal opportunities in nation building.
Now, the president said the government is committed to the mainstreaming of disability in the country's development agenda, appealing to county governments to consider waiving costs of assessments of persons with disabilities in gazetted hospitals.
And he was speaking on a day the world marked UN Day of Persons with Disability. Take a look.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Friday led the country in marking this year's United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities. The president urged the nation to give equal opportunity to people living with disabilities.
Their enormous sacrifices affirm our national creed that we are one people made greater by our diversity.
With 918,270 persons estimated to be living with disabilities in the country, the president noted that the group is increasingly taking up leadership roles in many spheres, including politics.
We have made tremendous progress in mainstreaming persons with disabilities, progress that we should all be proud of. As we celebrate these gains, let us today all redouble our efforts towards our common goal of creating an even playing field for all persons living with disabilities in Kenya.
The president directed the health ministry to ensure rehabilitation services are part of the offering.
I also direct the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education to ensure progressive increase of the human resource for rehabilitation at both national and county levels, and to offer support to institutions of higher learning to develop capacity for training of rehabilitation personnel.
We need persons with disabilities to be empowered economically. Gone are the days when we looked at persons with disabilities from a pity paradigm. Embrace persons with disabilities, and that will ensure that people take a mainstream approach.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities says the digitization of the registration process will address various gaps faced by the group in seeking services.
It has been really a tedious and harrowing moment registering persons with disabilities, and you'll find that some people with disabilities who are deserving to be registered are not registered. One, because they don't have the money that is required to pay for assessment.
The new system will offer new generation disability identification card with unique security features to prevent fraud. Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Now, rescuers are racing against time to save 8 men trapped inside a mine in Abimbo village in Siaya County. The mine collapsed on Thursday afternoon. Families are clinging onto hope that their loved ones will be rescued.
Emotions are running high as the clock ticks and hopes for those trapped under the tunnels fade away by the minute.
We are here almost from yesterday up to now. We are not very happy, but we have hope.
The intervals within which the compressor machine is roaring to pump oxygen into the tunnel is reducing by the minute from a regular interval of 30 minutes to just 5 as rescuers do everything to keep them alive.
Hiyo mtambo na guruma ni ya compressor. Ile iliyokuwa ikitumika pale chini kuvunja mawe kule chini. So wakati shimo ilifunga, ile pipe hawa ilikuwa iko chini. Ilisalia pale chini. So hiyo wanatumia kupiga hewa ili wapate hewa pale chini. Ni hewa wanapata, kuna kingine.
So appealing to the government to come up boldly to help us, because like now I'm here, my brother is trapped there. I'm grieved. I talk to you, but it is sad in my heart.
Hii shimo sio inaenda straight. Unaweza enda hivi, alafu mnaenda hivi, tena mnaenda hivi. Na ni kazi ngumu kwa sababu vile tunafanya hii, tunaomba tu serikali kwa sababu watu nafanya hii kwa sababu hakuna kazi.
Rescuers are grappling with loose soils, lack of electricity and rainfall.
Kuna udongo unazidi kubomoka ukirudi kwenye shimo. So hiyo udongo imerudi kwenye shimo, ndio imeleta shida. Sasa hatupati sauti yake, hatuongee naye tena.
The 8 were trapped at midday on Thursday as they went about their mining activities. Locals now want the government to regulate the small-scale mining industry as well as provide alternatives to the hundreds of youth plunging into the sector each year. As a dark cloud heavily hangs on Abimbo village, so is fear, apprehension and anxiety as everything is done to ensure that those trapped underneath are rescued before it is too late. Achala Simon, Easy Friday, Abimbo village, Siaya County.
All right, now, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has celebrated some 578 nurses and midwives for their contribution to the success of the Beyond Zero campaign. While awarding the caregivers, the First Lady said the sacrifice and effort have promoted universal health coverage and was key in saving the lives of thousands of women and children across the country.
On Friday, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta hosted the finalists of the Beyond Zero Health Awards during the second Beyond Zero Summit. 578 nurses and midwives were feted for their contribution in the promotion of primary health care.
I strongly support your belief in a future where the lives of all Kenyans, especially women and children, count. The theme of the summit also reminds us that good progress has been made on all fronts, and we are well on our way towards the achievement of universal health coverage.
The First Lady said the Beyond Zero campaign had helped strengthen the healthcare system and played a part in ending social injustices such as female genital mutilation and gender-based violence.
We need to invest more in prevention of diseases and to advocate for healthy lifestyles alongside delivery of quality health care at community level. This is where the real change happens. We continue to focus on reducing and eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV and syphilis in order to achieve our path validation by 2022.
Excellency, some of the initiatives that have been taken place to strengthen primary healthcare include the Linda Mama program. This program has contributed to the increase in skilled birth deliveries. As an example, we've increased from 57% to 78% in 2020.
Initiatives like these, ladies and gentlemen, can drastically spur positive change within our communities and to contribute to much needed health outcomes. We therefore need to continue maximizing the opportunity that initiative continue to offer.
The names of the outstanding nurses will be displayed at the KICC until Christmas. The Beyond Zero initiative was conceived in 2013 by the First Lady to heighten advocacy efforts aimed at reducing preventable maternal and child deaths, as well as eliminating mother-to-child transmission of HIV. Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
Now, Deputy President Dr. William Ruto says he will ensure that small and medium entrepreneurs are enrolled in a non-interest loan plan to ease their way of doing business. Speaking in Kajiado County, the DP lamented that the millions of Kenyans listed with the Credit Reference Bureau have been betrayed by dysfunctional financial systems.
Deputy President William Ruto on Friday toured parts of Kajiado County, making stopovers in Ilbilis, Kajiado West and Ngong. The Deputy President drumming up support for the bottom-up economic model.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Kajiado, kazi ya hawa wengine hapa Kajiado iko wapi? Wamepanga nini hapa Kajiado ikajengwa? Nyinyi mtapatia mtu kazi ati kwa sababu yeye amesema kitendawili ria. Kwa sababu hii mashindano iko hapa mbele, sio mashindano ya urembo, ni mashindano ya kazi. Mnaamini huyu? Mumesimama na yeye, mutalinda yeye na kura zenyu, hata akiambiwa aende pole pole. Si ni mtu ya mbio.
Ruto has promised to set up a 50 billion shilling fund for small and medium enterprises to help them avoid the Credit Reference Bureaus.
Tunaweza kwenda mbele kweli kama Wakenya milioni 14 hawawezi kufanya biashara kwa sababu wamekuwa blacklisted kwa CRB. Next year tunaweka pesa bilioni 50 kwa hazina ya hawa watu wafanyabiashara wa chini hawa, ili tuwapatie mkopo bila interest, bila security.
Na sisi tunasema William Ruto ndiye atakuwa rais wa Kenya mwaka ujao mwezi wa 8.
The DP also held a meeting with Kenyans living and working in diaspora at his current residence to discuss development ideas. Kamchemenza for Easy Friday.
Right, then as the election, that's the 2022 general election, draws nigh, the drum beats, as the political drum beats can only get louder. We can expect much of that in days to come. Our sign language interpreter for this evening is Susan Dhuku.
Keep interacting with us on hashtag Easy Friday. Tell us where you're watching from. Lots of messages coming in. Lois Ambassa says, Kariobangi South tuned in. Another one from Thomas Ombasa. Kisii tuned in. Mark me present from Kalangi. That's main Zonia. Abdullahi, who says, Wajir County tuned in. Edwin says, watching live from Bondeni area. And lastly, Alhaji says, watching live from Mombasa, Kisauni. So thank you so much for watching KBC Channel 1. This is Easy Friday. It's time for that short commercial break. We'll be right back.
Properly supported in accordance with the Constitution by 1,000 Kenyans, properly registered in various constituencies in all the parts of Kenya.
Ili kupata sikiza tuni hii, Isaiah chapter 40 verse 8, bonyeza *811*963 hash.
Wakati mwingine unaweza kujipata umefinywa pande zote na unaona kama shida yako ni kubwa sana, kama hakuna nguvu ambazo zaweza kuitatua, lakini ni vyema kujua kwamba kuna Mungu mwenye nguvu na ambaye hachoki kamwe. Isaia mlango wa 40 mstari wa 8 inasema, je, wewe hukujua? Hukusikia? Yeye Mungu wa milele, Bwana muumba miisho ya dunia, hazimii wala hachoki.
Ili kupata sikiza tuni hii, Isaiah chapter 40 verse 8, bonyeza *811*963 hash.
Our leading businessman is leading from behind. Diamond Kinyanjui.
Hii si haki. Kusema kweli nilipaswa kwa nimemaliza masomo siku ya leo.
Na sio malize by the way, nani amekukataza? Na unasinya by the way.
I, Theophilus Atito, from Kisumu City, the land of the great people, I'm vying for the topmost position of this institution.
Atito, you can make me your first lady.
Mr. Man, what is funny?
Nothing, I just wanted to know how it feels to run at last.
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
And welcome back. This is Easy Friday. Now, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, says the youth are at liberty to seek any elective position in the country. The National Assembly Speaker has argued that everyone that's young or old should be left to sell their manifesto freely, and the public be allowed to decide between the young and the old who is best suited to lead this country.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has differed with the President that the youth are in a hurry to take over leadership of this country. Muturi says there's no moving too fast or too slow in politics. Muturi, who spoke in Ngong during a tree planting event, claimed politicians are at will to sell their manifestos, and the decision as to who is most fit to lead the country squarely lies with the electorate.
Tumo mbioni bana. Tumo mbioni sisi. Wacha tukimbie. Si hata watu wanakimbia kila sehemu, kila pahali. Hata ile hata marathon watu zibado huwa wanakimbia. So hakuna shida yoyote kwa watu kukimbia. Wacha wakimbie na yule hata mwingine watembee. Ni sawa. Labda wale wanakimbia watashikana na wale ambao wanatembea. Maybe we are talking about synergy. Yes. Maybe wale wanakimbia na wale wanatembea wakishikana, basi watadhibiti mwendo wa yule ambaye alikuwa anakimbia sana.
Parliament, in collaboration with the Church of Latter-day Saints, has planted 1,000 seedlings in Ngong Forest.
We have developed an innovative solution to addressing the twin problem of deforestation and food security. We have plans to roll out a national fruit planting campaign across the country, and which will kick off this afternoon, which I will
encourage each one of us members of Parliament to give the support to our Speaker, JB Muturi, what he has done, what he has started today, planting 1,000 trees, so that we also plant trees within our constituencies and within our counties.
Nature is very unforgiving. So if you don't take care of it, it projects. It is also very unforgiving, and also it can wipe you.
For Easy Friday, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Now, only 11,000 people will be allowed into the Uhuru Gardens for the 2021 Jamhuri Day celebrations. Interior Principal Secretary Karaja Kibichu says counties will also have to wait to know whether the government will authorize parallel commemoration of the day in the devolved units. Kibichu was speaking at the Uhuru Gardens along Langata Road after inspecting the ongoing preparations for the December 12th celebrations.
Very proudly that we are 95% done in terms of field preparation. All that we are waiting for is final touches and a bit of evacuation of the materials that are there. I've also looked at the rest of the program, the soft side of this program. We are again 95% complete, and we shall be starting our rehearsals in earnest this weekend to ensure that everything is flowing according to plan. We will be giving information about celebration in the other counties. Ordinarily, since COVID came around, we have been just holding the celebrations, one celebration where His Excellency the President is present and the others are advised to watch on TV. We'll be making that decision this weekend after we have carried out an evaluation of how ready the counties are.
All right, now let's head to the corridors. So Justice and Sirisia parliamentary aspirant Moses Nandwale has been sued by his ex-wife Elizabeth Were, who is a journalist with the local newspaper, for allegedly kidnapping two of their children and taking them to his rural home in Sirisia. That's in Bungoma County. Now the journalist is now seeking a court order to have the politician produce the minors in court and have legal custody granted. Let's have this and more stories from the courts.
Moses Nandwale, who is an aspiring politician, has been sued by his ex-wife for allegedly abducting the two minors, who are a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, from Elizabeth Were, a journalist with a local newspaper. The politician is further alleged to have thrown the journalist out of the vehicle they were traveling in and also taken her phone, logged into her Facebook account and posted a photo of him and the minors without her knowledge, claiming she gave him the kids. Through her lawyer, Danstan Omari, the journalist now seeks orders for the politician to produce the kids in court and legal custody granted to her, where it says she fears for her life and that of her children. Meanwhile, a lady from Kasarani Sub-County, Sheila Andai Okwomo, has been charged for attempted murder for attempting to pour petroleum on Nancy Wanjiru Njeru. Sheila was granted a bond of 1 million shillings and a cash bail of 600,000 Kenyan shillings, with a mention date set for the 14th of December. Serafina Robi for Easy Friday.
Now, the 2NK Sacco driver who was sacked after he drove students who were abusing drugs in his vehicle into a police station on Friday met the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti. The DCI invited the driver, John Muthoni, to see him after he learned of his predicament. The sacking of Muthoni was condemned by many Kenyans on social media.
The Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, has celebrated John Muthoni for trying in vain to prevent 7 boys and 7 girls from indulging in drugs. The driver was fired from his job for reporting the matter to the police. Kinoti wondered how an employer would resort to such a punitive action instead of encouraging other drivers to emulate Muthoni's good example. Kinoti encouraged Muthoni to continue upholding the moral value of standing up for what is right, even if it meant putting his career at risk. The incident comes in the wake of the many cases of student unrest. Muthoni, who has since secured a job at the Nyeri County Government, was accompanied by Limuru East nominated MCA, Honorable Mercy Nungari, to Mazingira Complex to meet the Director of Criminal Investigation. Reporting for Easy Friday, I am Stephanie Akiri.
best Kenyan film.
He will not, and you know.
You will.
Where are you from?
Good evening, Mrs. Kentai.
You know me?
I think we should just do as we're told. You're hard worker.
Who's been telling them about me?
We know everything.
They know everything.
Is this what I think it is?
Long time no see. You complained a lot about you. Said you let yourself grow fatter and you dress like a grandmother.
Dad had a gun in the safe the whole time. Woman, is that you?
Okay, whose side are you on?
Finish your business.
Wise2 is an acclaimed Kenyan street artist and muralist. He has created works in public spaces around the world, and his latest collaboration is on a prestigious campaign design in Kenya. Wise2 will be on the show this Friday with Shiksha Arora, right here on Easy Friday on KBC Channel 1.
There you go, baby.
Like Grandpa Stu used to do, get your hands on them, punish them, stretch them, submit them, whatever you'd have to do.
The only legacy that matters now in professional wrestling is the dynasty.
2 minutes, and it's 2 minutes for Marshall to survive against two men. Oh, it's filthy Tom Lawler!
It's like some kind of counter street soldier. He's got the claw. Oh, yes!
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at business news that has been making headlines this Friday edition. Now, local pharmaceuticals companies could become beneficiaries of a joint vaccine production deal that Kenya is targeting in collaboration with People's Republic of China. Now, China ambassador to Kenya, Zhu Pijan, says this is part of the 1.1 trillion shillings Chinese investment plan in Africa over the next 3 years. Zhu made the remarks during a tour of GTC Center, the tallest building in Nairobi that has 42 floors.
During the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation held in Dakar, Senegal, the second largest economy committed to supply 1 billion doses of COVID-19 vaccine to all African countries, out of which 600 million doses will be issued through donations, while 400 million will be produced jointly with African countries.
Also called for joint efforts to promote and carry forward the spirit of China-Africa friendship.
Egypt, Algeria and Morocco are some of the African countries who are already benefiting through a joint vaccine production with Chinese companies.
The Chinese government is going to set up a fund
to support African companies to be able to export more to China. This was really, the voice of someone who is interested in making sure that this cooperation grows deeper, but also extends its benefits to all the participants.
China has also committed to provide an additional $10 billion to finance green lines targeting African agricultural exports and hasten inspection and quarantine procedures. The trade promotion program aims at increasing the scope of products enjoying zero tariff treatment for the least developed countries having diplomatic relations with China. In the meantime, the Global Trade Center, a 7.5-acre development by Avic International Real Estate Kenya, comprising 6 towers, including a 47-level 3A office tower, a 35-hotel tower that will host the star-studded U.S. chain W Marriott Hotel, and 4 residential apartment towers will be complete in 2022. That is a view of the Central Business District atop the tallest building so far at 603 feet above sea level, the GTC Tower. Come April 2022, the office tower will be ready for occupation. I'm Regina Manyara reporting for Easy Friday.
Global software provider Newgen has launched a business-to-business service that reduces the turnaround time for service providers. Newgen Software Vice President in charge of sales Vivek says speed is key in service delivery, hence the new service that mainly targets those in the financial service sector by automating most services such as loan processing.
It takes about a week for a borrower to have their loan application processed by most banks in the country. This is because most lenders have not automated their loan processes. Global software provider Newgen is seeking to address this through a business-to-business service that helps banks and other financial service providers fast-track the processes to just 4 hours for loan processing.
Our technology is applicable as much as for a bank as it is for, let's say, a government organization.
Newgen One, which is a cloud-based platform for complex, content-driven, and customer-engaging businesses, seeks to streamline business operations, inform employee decisions, and deployment of business applications.
We provide tools which enable these customers to engage with the service providers on any channel of their choice.
These emerged during a 2-day digital transformation expo in Nairobi attended by business executives from leading financial institutions. In an aim to achieve quality services for their customers, most of the businesses have turned to digitization. This has further been enhanced by various digital platforms as they try to create a link between the businesses and the customers. Reporting for Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, a crossover now to the sugar sector, where the government is betting on technology to reform the sugar industry in the country. Forms aims to help farmers access the right information at the right time and track payment for their deliveries. The Sugar Directorate says lack of the right information has seen farmers planting the wrong seeds and using inappropriate fertilizer. The Directorate has developed a mobile app that will help sugarcane farmers access information in real time.
Sugarcane farmers can now access information regarding farm practices from the comfort of their palms following the launch of the Miwabora mobile application. The platform, according to the developers, will allow sugarcane farmers to engage the Sugar Directorate in a real-time situation.
We have a lot of burden when it comes to, right now, when it comes to the traders seeking information. They have to go up to the agency to be able to get simple information. This app consolidates experts' information into a module of technical advisory.
The launch of the Miwabora mobile application heralds a new dawn for sugarcane stakeholders, especially farmers who for a long time have experienced communication challenges with extension officers. To the small-scale sugarcane farmers, the application will keep them up to date with the latest trends to help them make informed decisions on sugarcane farming.
This application will help farmers mainly as a technical advisory tool, because the messages In the application, we run from the land preparation to planting sugarcane varieties for seed cane, fertilizer use, prevention of diseases and pests, and up to harvesting and transportation to the factory.
Well, and that is how we wrap up business and news for tonight. Karen Kibet is up next with the sports update. My name is Carol Jenga. Have a good night.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now on to our first story. The former IAAF president Lamine Diack died last evening and was buried in Dakar, Senegal. Athletics Kenya has eulogized the former World Athletics Supremo who had integrity issues.
Until his death, Lamine Diack was serving a 4-year jail term, 2 suspended, effective last year after being found guilty of corruption charges related to the Russian doping scandal. Before joining sports governance, Diack was an athlete who competed in long jump in the 1950s and won medals during the French Athletics Championships in 1958, holding French and West African records for 3 years. The late Diack also served as a member of the International Olympic Committee between 1999 to 2013.
During his tenure, he did a lot for Africa also. The development of athletics, especially in our West African region, West Africa and also the southern regions, that's where the issues of Golden League and of course which gave birth to Diamond League was also during his era. So I think he has contributed a lot, especially Africa, and despite the fact that during his retirement he ended up being entangled with those issues of ethics. So we say Paul.
The 88-year-old served as the IAAF president from 1999 to 2015.
May his soul rest in peace. Moving on, Kenya's sensational sprinter Ferdinand Omanyala has joined the National Police Service, where he will represent the force side in the discipline in future events. National Police Service announced on its official Twitter handle, where Omanyala was pictured with Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai. Omanyala has had a blistering season, smashing the Africa 100-meter record and setting a new time of 9.77 seconds that he set in Nairobi's Kasarani Stadium at the Kipkeino Continental Tour. The fastest man in the continent also reached the semi-finals of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, being the first Kenyan man to achieve the feat. Ferdinand Omanyala now joins a pool of other elite athletes in the National Police Service, including the likes of David Rudisha, Geoffrey Kamworor, Julius Yego, and legendary Ezekiel Kemboi. Inspector General Mutyambai urged Omanyala to maintain his sporting discipline for him to utilize his full potential and at the same time deliver his new role as a police athlete. Kenyan champions Nairobi Water women handball team successfully defended their East and Central Africa handball title after beating all their opponents in this year's event held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Nairobi Water defeated Kisiguro 32-18 today morning to win the title they won back in 2019. It was a one-sided encounter that saw the Kenyan side take a 19-12 lead at halftime and controlled the second half to secure the vital win and the 2021 title. On their way to the title, Nairobi Water defeated Ngome, JKT and Cereals before sealing the title with the win against Kisiguro. A total of 9 teams took part in the tournament, ending tomorrow in Tanzania. Nairobi Water head coach Jack Herbert said the experience earned his side the title for yet another time. National light welterweight champion George Onyango will defend his title tomorrow against Fred Nyakesha at the Nairobi Charter Hall. It is expected to be a close and grudge battle between the two Kenyan boxers who last met 3 years ago, with Onyango winning on split points. The bout, organized by Big Time Boxing Promotions, will be the only title event and will be accompanied by 7 undercard fights, all sanctioned by the Kenya Professional Boxing Commission. Boxers were taken through weigh-in sessions today at the Charter Hall, with each exuding confidence of a victory. Onyango, aged 24 years, has won 6 bouts since turning professional in 2017, 2 of them through knockouts. Nyakesha will be fighting for the first time since 8th June last year. Moving on, Tusker FC midfielder Humphrey Mieno has expressed the team's preparedness ahead of Sunday's second leg clash of CAF Confederations Cup preliminary round against CS Sfaxien in Tunisia. Tusker was held to a barren draw by the Tunisian opponents in Nairobi a week ago, and a win will see the Brewers qualify for the group stage of the competition. Mieno predicted their opponent, who has won the Confederations Cup on 3 occasions, with the last title coming in 2013, could change approach in the second leg. The winner of the tie, which is scheduled to kick off at 8 p.m. East African time at Stade Taib Mihiri in Sfax, Tunisia, will advance to the lucrative stage.
The shake-off was very important, regeneration after the long trip. It was very vital for us to come and do a little bit of shake-off, and I think it has helped us a lot.
Sasa tuna focus tu kwa game ya Sunday. For us ni must win kama tunataka ku qualify to group stage, na this time tunataka ku break hiyo jinx kwa tuingiangi group stages, so tuta give our all.
And finally, Premier League leaders Chelsea will be looking to continue with their brilliant away form when they travel to London Stadium tomorrow to take on West Ham United in the London Derby. This will be one of their 10 Premier League matches on the card this weekend as the league continues action. There will be plenty of action also in Italy, France, Germany and Spain. For this and more, here's a look at our weekend sports diary. And congratulations to Manchester United for beating Arsenal 3-2 in a late night fixture that happened last night at Old Trafford. Well, that's how we wrap up our sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. I will see you next week for more sports stories. But for now, I do hand you back to Shiksha and John Kago.
All right, thank you. And that match was adrenaline-filled. Man U Arsenal yesterday, a lot of pressure.
Oh, yes. Are you a Man U fan or an Arsenal fan?
I am not a Man U fan, neither Arsenal. I'm a Manchester City fan, yeah.
Interesting.
Cristiano Ronaldo, with the big feat yesterday, actually has the most goals in competitive football.
Absolutely enjoyed that match.
Absolutely. Good stuff. All right, we are wrapping up Easy Friday for tonight. Spotlight is up next. What do we have tonight?
So tonight we've got a very interesting talent.
Yep.
I'm going to be talking all about his work. He is internationally acclaimed when it comes to his artwork. We've seen his work in California, New York, Sweden, Tunisia, South Africa, here in Kenya as well, in Kibra. And just a fun fact.
Yes.
Did you know that the Midnight Trains cover album, you know, the billboard that we see on Woodvale,
yes,
right? It was actually done by him.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Quite talented at that. It's going to be a great conversation a bit later on the Spotlight.
His name is Wise2.
Wise2.
Interesting name as well. So we'll ask him the story behind that.
Great talent, and the name as well. They rhyme. That's good stuff. I'm looking forward to the Spotlight. Some of you have been watching tonight. Just to recognize Samir Brai, you're saying you're locked watching from Jammu, Sharon from Kasarani, Chalo from Limuru, Ezekiel, you're saying you're watching from on YouTube from Tanzania, Jane Wangari from South Sudan. Many thanks indeed for watching.
We'll see you soon. Don't go too far.
All right.
There you go, baby.
Like Grandpa Stu used to do, get your hands on them, punish them, stretch them, submit them, whatever you'd have to do.
The only legacy that matters now in professional wrestling is the dynasty.
2 minutes, and it's 2 minutes for Marshall to survive against two men. Oh, it's filthy Tom Lawler!
It's like some kind of Contra street soldier. He's got the claw.
Oh, yes!
The next best Kenyan film.
He will not, and you know it.
You will.
Where are you from?
Good evening, Mrs. Kentai.
You know me?
I think we should just do as we're told. You're hard work.
Who's been telling them about me?
We know everything.
They know everything.
Is this what I think it is?
Long time no see. You complained a lot about you. Said you let yourself grow fatter and you dress like a grandmother.
Dad had a gun in the safe the whole time. Woman, is that you?
Okay, whose side are you on?
Finish your business.
share. Baby, just share. I'ma get this kind of feeling. I say na sweet good feeling. Yeah, baby, just share. Baby, just share. Your body so fly, no need visa. You dey make me go loco. Yeah, your body on fire. Mama Licha, take a mora. It's a biggie heavy something when you roll it. Make I take my time to control it. Ain't nobody bad like me. I say nobody fi slay like you. Oh yeah, love you all your ways too. Baby, jaga share. After the party, say we go to my place, go to my place. Love you all your ways too. Baby, jaga share. Oh, and after the party, say we go to my place. Weni mwenyeji, hello, kama si mwenyeji, mind your business. Unataka ule anaichapa mpaka ilale, basi harakisha njona. Mima inanukia shasha mane, ustupe nini kwa flona. Super komudia ladha gane, gnezenda fast au slow. Baby, eva nikisikia mapop malen, kitafta plan ya do. Yeah. Tuanzishi vita, tunamaliza. Nani ukinita, tuma mamita. Au malipsinka, wanawaingiza. Napanda stage, na unamiujiza.
Just setting the mood right, because right now it's time for Spotlight. So DJ Koljax,
of course.
Welcome. Remember,
thank you very much.
December is here.
December is here.
We feel good. It's an easy Friday as always. You can always talk to us on hashtag Easy Friday. Tell us where you're watching from. Koljax will also be back at 10:30 p.m. Remember, this is where disco funk happens. Only the best of the 80s and 90s. You know,
of course.
I feel like it's my favorite part
thank
of
you so
Friday
much.
night.
Really?
Listening to music.
Thank you
makes
so
my
much.
night
I'm really humbled to hear that. Thank you so much.
Are you ready for December?
I'm very ready for December. I've been waiting for December for the last 11 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're waiting for right now is the interview. I'm going to be having the Spotlight artist in just a moment. We'll be speaking to one of the best graffiti artists in not just Kenya, but the world. We'll have that conversation in a short while. His name is Wise 2. So if you're Wise, you will definitely not miss this one.
Of course.
We ready?
We're ready. Tune in and tell us, Maze, where you tuned in from. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy the show. Yes, sir.
Art is the balance between ancient and modern.
Hello.
Koljax in the mix.
Hello. Kama we ni mwenyeji. We ni mwenyeji. Hello. Kama we si mwenyeji. Mind your business. Unataka ule anaichapa mpaka ilale, basi harakisha njona. Mima inanukia shasha mane, ni kwa flona. Super komudia ladha gane, gnezenda fast au slow. Eva nikisikia mapop malen, kitafta plan ya do. Tuanzishi vita, tunamaliza. Nani ukinita, tuma mamita. Au malipsinka, wanawaingiza. Napanda stage, na unamiujiza. Baba wakeja, wananitia, wananiiga. Likuwa na choma mpaka kwa filter, kabadoko ushago. Hello, life iko order, pako kweli na sound unachocha.
Vile naifanya sio hoja, huku isi ni situ na zoza. Tunaifanyaga proper, tunaifanyaga proper. Tunaifanyaga die number tu wakanichuja daro, songa jenga shule wajua lipe karo. Saimi ndio speaker Frankole Kaparo, matutas napiga ki Usman Kamaru. Kwa fam ya kipang sikutoka, so fam ya kipang kitatoka. Kwa mimi amini ni jasho na damu zinatoka kiroga. Injili na treat kama dini, saima device inakuja na mzinga. Wananidai na nijuzi waliringa. Mungu akisansi unajua uwezi pinga. Odds iko right, misi chezi na tinga. Okay, kifemi kijembe kigali, bila buti na bidwa kubali. Pata jali ujwe nani ya kujali. Hii maisha ni tamu na jes na makali.
Life iko order, bako kweli na sound unachocha.
Vile naifanya sio hoja, huku isi ni si tunazoza. Tunaifanyaga proper, 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 proper. Tunaifanyaga proper, 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 proper.
They don't want to, just admit it. You don't want to, just admit it. Scene is shut down when I hit it. They don't want to, just admit it. It's a party in a 254. Fuck the keys, kick down the door. What a gang, that explains the flow. Step out, I don't drip, I pull, but I spit heat comes from the core. Flow so cold, but my throat not so. I got other options when I hit the stove. I've been giving hits, but they want more. Wait, this took off for Lolo. Everywhere I turn, drop, keep it Lolo. All out of God, but I did it by my solo. Guess they didn't know, but now they know. No African team that I fly on my seats. Rolling with the log, you can hear it like a speaker. Lifting up the youth, I can never get weaker. And I kick game, I ain't talking about a sneaker. They don't want to, just admit it. You don't want to, just admit it. Scene is shut down when I hit it. They don't want
to. She play my head like a ping pong, dreaming every morning, waiting for the day I hear ding dong. Then I know I'm on it. Nemu alizani all of fumble, kumbe niko lonely, waiting for the day I hear ding dong. Then I know I'm on it. She play my head like she play my head like she play my head like a ping pong, dreaming every morning, waiting for the day I hear ding dong. Then I know I'm on it. Nemu alizani all of fumble, kumbe niko lonely, waiting for the day I hear ding dong. Then I know I'm on it. My African lady, she got me like crazy. I turn you when she don't like my game. My African lady, she got me like crazy. I turn you when she don't like my game. I turn you when I turn you when
you are never gonna get me crazy. Your feelings don't even faze me. We never gonna hit the cloud. And you are never gonna get me crazy. My ladies don't see ya blazing. We never gonna hit the cloud. And it's never gonna be. Kuwa nawe sio neno, tatizo ni raha etendo. Mina kosa amani na isi kama vile waninyima upendo. I feel so solo, ni kama mtoto ndani ya jambo. Mina kosa amani na isi kama vile waninyima upendo.
My African lady, she got me like crazy. I turn you when she don't like my game. My African lady, she got me like crazy. I turn you
It's gotta be DJ Cold Jazz.
Me, myself, and I don't need you. Yeah. There's something about them looks deceitful. Yeah. What goes around comes around, come on. I don't fuss, I don't want drama. You know me and you know we know saga. We can go distance, lasting forever.
All right, this is Easy Friday. Remember, if you're watching, you can always interact with us on KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora, at Art of Face. Wise True. Art of Wise 2, right?
Yeah,
he's here.
Art of Wise.
He's corrected me. That's on Twitter. Tag us, tell us, if you're enjoying the interview, and we will definitely be airing some of your messages later on. So today, the man I'm going to be introducing you to is somebody who has, showed that his talent has no bounds, no boundaries, of course. He is internationally acclaimed when it comes to his artwork, his graffiti, his street work, and he's been doing this for 15 years in 15 countries, even more than 15 countries actually. So we'll be asking more about that in just a moment. And he started off here in Kenya, and now I guess he is a globe trotter and somebody who I believe is a very free spirit because of the kind of work that he does. So without further ado, let me introduce the guest for tonight. His name is Wise2, aka Bupi Jetwa. Thank you so much for coming to Easy Friday, and it's a pleasure hosting you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great so far. So
far so
good.
Good.
Let's unravel the stories and
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Bupi, you are somebody who I believe extremely talented.
Yeah.
Somebody who is meant to be doing what you're doing today, and you've spread your wings, and of course you've been around the world.
Yeah.
You have showed your talent in various parts of the world.
Yeah.
And you started off in Kenya. So did you always know that you wanted to be an artist? Because we're having a conversation and you mentioned that you didn't even take art in school.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I never thought of being an artist. Of course, there's that element of being an artist. It's there. It's you just have to tap into it. This is something that I was trying to look throughout my life. So I think I got the right kind of variables or influences or exposure, so that allowed me to experiment more on my art.
Yes.
And I think that is where I said, you know what, this is something I really want to pursue.
Yeah.
And also with coming into graffiti and street art, it's not that the same medium like fine art where you could do it in a studio and then be okay. You can be in a space for 6 months and not leave that space. But for street art, it's very different because I have to go out, I have to travel, I have to interact with people, and I love that part of it. And there's this rebellious nature to it that allows you to express yourself raw. It's like there is no censorship to it. So that's what I felt when I was growing up. Of course, throughout the times, then it starts changing into something else. You metamorphosize into completely someone else. But of course, you stay true to your roots. But now you start looking into more specifics of the art. So that's how my journey began. Like
amazing,
the rebellious nature. Yeah.
Right. So did you always know what you wanted to be? What did you want to be, in fact? Lawyer, doctor, engineer? Let's guess.
I was very interested in being a lawyer, and then I said, you know what, the law is very interesting because this is something that you learn a lot, you know? You learn about engineering, you learn about art, you learn about, because of these different cases. That was I think that was the thing that sparked that interest for knowledge.
Interesting.
And knowledge is infinite. So when you can decide that this is what you want to pursue, and then maybe later on it changes. So then it changed into something else. I did international relations. I have a degree in that, so that was something interesting. It also built my character, my personality. Gave me more courage. It's something that opens you up. So with art, that's something else. This is something else I can take anywhere in the world. I learn languages, people, different personalities and things like that. So that is, so now I can't change. I can't. Maybe I can be an astronaut. I don't know.
At some point in your life.
if I get
why not? I always believe never limit yourself.
Exactly.
You never box yourself to doing one thing because it's very important to be able to try your hand at different things in life because you never know where you may end up. And look at you. You said that you didn't plan for this, and here you are traveling the world and doing what you're so passionate about, which is absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So, tell me more about the name Wise2. I feel like it's such an interesting name because, I saw your Instagram page and I was told about you. I did my research and I was like, wait, but why Wise2?
Well, I was expecting that question because a lot of people ask me that. So with wise, it comes from the word wisdom, of course.
Of course, yes.
But growing up, reading a lot, trying to understand different things, at that particular age, being like the smart guy, you always, because there's that curiosity for knowledge. So I picked that word wise. And the two usually signifies, if I would call myself wise one, then that means I would know everything in life, which is which is impossible. Wise one is another level of elevation. It's another level of, okay, you have surpassed this and now you look down on other people. But that's not the case. The two always reminds me of the humility, that I can always be the wise two to somebody else who's wise one.
Interesting.
And learn from that person. And because it's a journey. So like now I'll learn something from you before I go, and after I go home, I've learned something from this interview. So that's also me trying to humble myself, bringing myself in this situation where I can learn. You know, emptying my glass in that vision. So
And
that's the reason why.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a lovely meaning. I mean, I'm intrigued now to know more about this, because I'm just like, you know, I didn't ever expect somebody to think in that sense, you know, in this direction that you've taken me in. So very interesting.
It is.
Now I know the meaning of wise too,
There
and
you
I feel
go.
wise as well. So I'm also wise today.
There you go.
All right. So, you know, Bupi, tell me more about your background. So when was the first painting, or when is the first time that you actually went out there and painted something, and how many years ago was it? And tell me the story. Where did it happen? Which part of Nairobi?
So I started off painting with a few graffiti artists who are already painting.
Okay.
So I learned a lot from them in terms of spray. I started with spray paint first. So I mean, with the basics of graffiti, it usually is the spray paint. Then you start with now building. Once you master the spray can, you can master so many other things.
Okay. So
I was just hanging around with artists who are painting. Remember when I said before the rebellious nature of things, and that drew me closer to these. They're friends of mine still who are painting currently right here in Nairobi. So we do exchange those ideas once in a while. But my first painting, it's difficult. I think it was in Jericho or it was in Kibera. I'm not sure.
Wow.
Because that's why I started painting, and that is where we got access to the wall space.
Yes.
Where you talk to a neighbor and he says, "Hey, this is amazing. Can you use another? Paint my wall. Can you use another color like orange? I'm very much inclined with the color orange. Like whatever it may be." And that's how you kind of you make a sacrifice, and then you trade your skills and conversations.
Okay.
So from that connection, then you get other walls that you can paint around the neighborhood. So it was just about it wasn't even about making money. It wasn't even about making, there's no money, that much money in art. It's difficult unless you know how to break through.
Yeah.
But it was just about the passion, just to put it out there, to practice, go home and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to try different things tomorrow or the day after, the week after. And that was how it started. But I can't remember. It was in 2005 or 4.
Wow.
I can't really recall. Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that you've actually mentioned that there isn't much money in art, because I was getting there. And I wanted to ask you, when did you break through, and when did you make your first fat paycheck? Because I'm very curious to know, because you do realize that artists, at the end of the day, they're not really paid as much as they should be, because the time, the effort, the skills that go into coming up with this beautiful piece of art, it takes a lot, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally. And I feel like it is a skill set that's very undervalued. And moving on, of course, unless you break through and you end up, making that $1 million check, which some artists do at the end of the day. But being a graffiti / street artist, when did you make that big breakthrough?
I think there were small breakthroughs that built to the
the big breakthrough internationally. So when did you go international? Let's put it that way.
2012. I think 2012, 2013. I did a big. I painted at a big festival in New York, in upstate New York, in Rochester, which was nice because they had a lot of artists, international artists, 35 artists. These are people who've been painting for a long time. There's artists that I painted with that I looked up to. I never knew that they existed until I got into painting graffiti. And it was amazing. This is from the days when they were painting trains in New York. That's where graffiti had started. Like, it picked up from there. So the trains would go 5 boroughs, and they would call it Old City. So they would go Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and then back. Like that. Those are the kind of people I painted with. So that was my first breakthrough, and I understood that if I surround myself with this, even if it's not just for the commercial value of my art, it doesn't matter. Like, the thing is, if you focus too much on the money, then your art can get very diluted. People will control what
You do.
And for me, I'm very rebellious. There's no way I would let somebody control my work. Of course, there's a way of moving around, but control the entire concept is difficult. So it's trying to stay true to your roots. So with that in mind, I just said, let me focus on the craft and let the money be the byproduct. You know, it comes as a
money is secondary.
Yeah, it comes as a by the way. You know, you have this like a footnote.
Interesting. So I mean, I don't think you will understand how talented this man is until you see it for yourself. So I'm going to ask my director to just play some of his work. He's got some beautiful videos, a compilation of some of his work. So if we can get that on the screen, I would really appreciate it, just so that we can see the magnitude of Wise 2's work.
Yeah.
Right, so that right there, maybe you can just take us through some of the paintings that we're seeing on our screen right now.
Yeah.
Where is that?
That's in Mexico. That's at the border. United States on the left, Mexico on the right.
Wow.
It's right at the border. It's 900 square meters. It's for a social project that I did with some friends in Mexico.
Okay.
So the project is called Colectivo Tomate. And it was really interesting. It was desert-like condition. It's cold, it's hot, it's windy. You're on that cherry picker. I drive it, I bring it down, I paint all three murals at the same time.
Amazing.
So
and how long did it take you to complete that?
3 weeks, because I had a friend who was in the corner. If there was a mural that's just started, it was in the corner. So we were shifting 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. So it was nice. It was nice. A lot of help also from like local people, and then I also crossed over the border by road.
Wow,
and it was
you did that. So adventurous.
To the US, yeah, a different, completely different experience. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's a huge wall. It's 900 square meters.
It looks really big. We've got another video that we'll be playing. There we go. So that's the one that got my attention.
Yeah.
I have to say the final product of that.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. So maybe you can tell me the story behind that.
So this it was a private. It's a collection. It's for a collector. It's a private piece. It was trying to connect Canada with the African roots. So I painted the mask on the side. I've done in the center. You can see there is like a horizon with a heart.
Yes.
And then there's this wheat field that is kind of very much connected to, well, the client or the collector who comes from there. And she said that this is what would resonate with me, because I remember the it's called the prairie fields or something like that, and that's what resonates with her. And I said, okay, since you have a love of Nairobi, of Kenya, of Africa, let me connect those roots with what you have, where your roots are. So I put the heart there, and like that kind of stuff. That was the whole vibe, like just to create. The thing is, if I was to explain it, then you'd see it one way. But if I let you just interpret it in your way, then you would see things that you can help me see in a very different perspective. Exactly.
Interesting. So we've got one last video after this that, there we go.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us what exactly you did over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks extremely aesthetic from what I see.
Yeah.
And what's the story behind this one?
So this is recent actually. This is in, I think, June of this year. July of this year. And this is one of the biggest, actually it's the biggest ethnological museum in Vienna, in Austria. And we did a project. This is a temporary exhibition. It's still running. It'll run until January. And the museum is called the Wealth Museum. And the whole idea was, the concept was learning racism. Oh no, I was unlearning racism. One of the two. Like it was trying to you have to unwind to understand where our roots are.
Yes.
So we had some artists from I think Uruguay, had an artist from Suriname. It was nice because this is something that we are sitting together and understanding what racism is in terms of roots and culture. And to be able to paint in a museum like this, it's a big museum.
So what you painted was your interpretation
of that.
Interesting.
Of that. So it's a broken kind of sculpture piece, and then there's the final piece. So it's like, and the doorway is like a doorway, like a portal. So you have to go through a portal to learn something.
Yeah.
That's the idea, and that's the doorway. You'll see it's like somewhere in the
Amazing.
video. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's that.
Yes,
that
I see it. And it's on two sides, right?
It's on two sides. So one is like just grayscale, broken like a sculpture, and then the other side it's fully colored and just there's not that sculpture feel like it's breaking.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've always wondered what goes on in an artist's mind, and today I'm able to like immerse myself into your world and how you bring these visions to life through your art, which is just absolutely incredible. And let me ask you a question. Okay, this is something which I've always wanted to know. Where do you get these ideas from?
They come. I mean, I don't know. I think also with a lot of practice.
Okay.
And also I think you need inspiration, like something that drives you.
Yeah.
If you have something that drives you and you're interested in, for me it's ancient culture. I am very much interested in ancient culture and connecting that with our roots today. So if I can do that, then I can easily get inspiration because there's so much. There's a plethora of information, ideas, visuals that I can, of course, not pick and use, but inspire myself and recreate it in my mind and then bring it to existence. So that's what I do. And that's where it comes. Like, you just have to keep practicing at it, you know? It's like any skill that you want to get good at, you have to be willing to give your, like Leonardo da Vinci said, 10,000 hours.
Yeah, so how many thousand hours do you do?
So many hours, like...
In a day?
In a day, like now I've been able to relax because I have specific jobs that I know I need to do. But before I was doing maybe 23, 22 hours.
Okay.
Not in a day. It would stretch. But for a day would be, I don't know, 12, maybe 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how much practice goes into.
That's the beginning phase.
Amazing.
Yeah. Now it's more relaxed.
Okay. Now because you're.
Now it's 8 hours.
Master. You're a guru.
No, not yet. I wish.
Will you ever open an academy at some point?
Yeah, maybe if I get the right finances for that. Yeah, but this is something that I would love to. Even not even the finances, like just taking it to high density areas. So when I travel, I also go to places where they don't have art or like hard neighborhoods and teach like kids. But these are very hard neighborhoods. These are neighborhoods like you don't want to visit when you're on a touristic trip. You know, you can take photos of a nice space or statue or something, but these other neighborhoods are difficult. So when I travel Mexico, Colombia, it's like trying to bring it to the people, and that's where the engagement comes. So you find kids learning, and then they send you photos later, or the mom says, hey, look what my son did. He's only 8 years old. Can you guide him or train him or something like that? Oh, when I come back to Colombia, then we can talk, you know, like stuff like that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing how you've managed to learn so much in this journey of yours and the exposure you've had with different people. I mean, I feel like it just, as you said, it grows you, and of course it opens your mind and your outlook on life. What's been the most, what can I say? There's a word that I'm looking for, but like something that has changed your life, an eye-opener for you, an experience that just really blew your mind in one of these countries that you visited.
I wouldn't say one experience. I say a combination of experiences. I have a very closeness to Mexico.
Okay.
And for me, Mexico is something that I love because in terms of food, the people, the culture, the murals, the artists that Mexico gave birth to, that inspired a whole range of rebellious, amazing muralists. That has inspired me. So every time I visit Mexico, I've been in Mexico 5-6 times. In like, I think 2 years. And this is something that I love. Whenever I'm there, I feel connected. I feel like that's my place. So every time I'm doing something, it's an experience.
Amazing.
Like taking the subway, it's an experience. You know, eating food in Mexico is an experience because it hits your senses in so many ways. It's just not only the taste, it's not even the feeling, it's also the visual. It's so many other things, you know.
It's very visually appealing and inspiring.
Exactly, with colors and food.
Vibrant place.
Vibrant, exactly. And it's full of life, you know, and that's what I like.
And they've got a very rich culture as well.
Exactly, and that's what I like to celebrate. Of course, this is from my travels. I've traveled to many parts of the world and I pick interesting things. But so far, Mexico has been like the cornerstone of the cornerstone.
Nice. So what would you say is your art style? You know, like a lot of artists have different styles. So what would you say is yours?
Ooh, style, I don't know. It's a bit difficult, like trying to, I don't know. I've never thought about it like that. I know a lot of artists will call it like
contemporary, urban, street. I'm sure yours leans towards the street side because that's what you like to create. And that's where your expertise lies. But what would you say is your style in a nutshell? if you were to describe it in one word?
I mean, contemporary also, but I just think as an artist, just like, I mean,
You like to experiment?
Yeah, I like experimental. I think would be experiment. I've never really sat down and pondered like, oh wow, should I really call this urban art? I don't know.
So you just like to experiment?
Yeah, experiment, but I think it's more contemporary because a lot of people can engage to it. People like our age can engage to it, and then also older people. I've seen a lot of older people get involved with it because it's street art, and a lot of people enjoy street art because these are like landmarks. Every time you visit a country or a city and you want to remember where your favorite restaurant is, you'll think, oh, what landmark is there? Oh, there's a graffiti mural here. That's the one. And then you go and you're like, I found it. You see, like, those are landmarks in the city which help. And I think that's how people identify, and that's how I think I would identify it as, you know, like contemporary.
Okay.
Or, something like that.
So if you were to give advice to a young artist who's just thinking of, you know, kickstarting their career, what would you tell them? Where should they start? Where do you begin?
I think if you have an interest in art, I think you shouldn't stop it. You should just start experimenting. It doesn't have to be on the walls. I mean, I think the walls is a cheaper way of doing it, for example, because the materials can be limited instead of going to an art store and buying. But if you have that advantage, then you can do that. Of course, I'm not trying to encourage everybody to go out and start painting the streets. Of course, it has to be done in a very civilized strategical way. But at the same time, you also have to be rebellious to achieve what you want. So I think with artists that are coming, or who are already there, budding artists, or who are kind of trying to pass that plateau of becoming a little bit more established, I think there's no other formula. The formula would be just keep painting. I think there's no formula actually. There's no step by step. Like you can't do A, B, C, D. And you miss all that and say, oh, I got the fat paycheck. You know, you have to do all of that and then you just trust yourself.
Okay. So Ruby, tell us more about your projects. You know, I've learned that you were actually the one responsible for that beautiful billboard that we've been seeing of Sauti Sol. You know, the latest album, which is Midnight Train. And then it was on Woodvale in Westlands, right? So you were the one who is responsible for that. So, you know, how did you get connected to Sauti Sol? How was the experience? You know, what did you learn from that experience?
So I'll give you like inside info. Sauti Sol, I grew up with them. I know BN really well.
Really?
Polycarp, all of them. Yeah. So they know me. Like the thing is that when we were painting, when I was doing that mural, they did know that it was me I was commissioned for that mural. It came from South Africa and Apple Music. So the thing was, they were looking to kind of, I don't know, reinterpret that album cover in a very street, engaging graffiti kind of way. Of course, maintain the album cover, but then add details of my work in the piece. So that was a nice experience. And after that, I think BN he called me and he was like, yo, you should pass by the studio. And I was like, yeah, sure, man. I mean, it's been a while, we should reconnect. And he's like, for sure. And I went and we talked about all of that. But the good thing about that mural was that it showed the power of music, these great artists connecting with people like me painting in the streets, you know, and bringing those worlds together and merging and creating this beautiful art piece, you see.
Amazing.
So
Nice.
that was the story.
And tell us more about your upcoming projects. I understand there's big projects that you are, you know, involved in future. So tell us more about that.
So right now I just finished one project with Glenfiddich.
Okay.
And it was like the 26-year-old whiskey, the Grand Couronne, which is grand. Like it's 26 years and it's really, I think it's really special.
It's a milestone.
It's a milestone. It's a very special whiskey, especially because if they can decide to collaborate with an artist like me, and from the world it's 19 artists.
Right.
So I happen to be one of these artists who collaborated on the sleeve of the bottle, of the box itself. But the thing is, it was just not a sleeve. It was an art piece. It was trying to bring the craftsmanship of Glenfiddich and Wise too, and merging them and creating this world of like the harmony of art, you know, because both of them have the process.
Amazing.
So that was one of the projects.
Part of one of 19 artists.
One of 19 artists.
That's insane. From around the world.
Around the world. So lucky me.
Lucky you indeed. And you happen to be Kenyan.
I happen to be Kenyan.
said that, you know, you've been a part of projects from 15 countries or even more, right?
More, I think.
You've traveled
right
to
now.
more than 15 countries. Mexico is closest, you know, to your heart.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us about the most difficult and most challenging experience you've had in one of these countries and how you encountered these hardships painting in a random country that, you know, you've never been to.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us more about that.
I think I wouldn't say it was in the beginning was a hardship. I think painting in Colombia was very difficult.
Okay.
But was also fun. One, that I went to Colombia with no knowledge of Spanish. And imagine just trying to get by with zero knowledge of Spanish, where everybody, predominantly, I would say 99%
Language
of the
barrier
people,
must be one of the biggest issues.
insane. Like trying to have, so there's one time I painted under the bridge with a friend of mine,
Yeah.
and he doesn't speak any Spanish. We just connected with the art.
Wow.
All we were doing was just like sign language or trying to tell, like, yeah.
You couldn't communicate,
No.
but you were just, you know,
But we were painting. We painted, I think, 3 murals together.
That's amazing.
And no English, no Spanish, just communicating. If there was someone who would translate, but we were
Sign
together.
language interpreter.
Like, you know, like, hey, yeah. And then we would be like, yeah, you know, like, cool or whatever. And that's how it was. But that's a hardship because at that time you don't see it.
Yes.
But later on, when you sit back and you reflect, you say, oh, you know, that was tough. If
I can't believe I did that.
in Spanish,
How did I manage?
we created like beautiful artworks,
Yeah.
and it was all because of art that we connected. So the language was not the barrier then. It just disappeared. We didn't even think about language as a barrier. It was just connecting with the art. That's
amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
And let's bring it back home as we wrap up. You know, here in Kenya, I've seen the scope of work, the potential
Yeah.
that street art, you know, has in these past few years.
Yeah.
There's been an evolution in terms of street art. Back in the day, it wasn't that big. You know, you'd see it at some places,
Yeah.
some walls here and there. But now there is like restaurants and there is different places where you just see
Yeah.
entire walls.
Yeah.
And the concept has changed. So
Yeah.
do you think in the coming few years it'll be more appreciated and more valued, street art that is?
Yeah, I think it will, but I also feel like artists need to stand up for themselves.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of times where you deal with, I'm not even saying about Kenya, I would say just in general.
Right.
Because most people wouldn't want to understand what art is. Why would I spend this kind of money and
to buy a painting?
Buy a
for
painting
instance.
or hire you to paint a big wall for me in my restaurant or in my bar or in my house or whatever it may be. The thing is, people like to get it printed out and paste
The
it, you know,
easier way
and the
out.
easier way and the cheaper way. But the thing is, you need to understand, art is very divine. The two things I would tell people that God speaks to you through two things. One is music and the other one is art. And actually it's supposed to be three. It's supposed to be mathematics.
Okay.
But,
Maths.
maths. So, but that's, for this case, it's music and it's art. So if you can find it deep down and say, look, I'm going to sponsor this artist, I'm going to help this artist or whoever it may be, just to push, and I think it will become a better industry. Because look, music probably 5-10 years ago was different to what it is today. People are making moves. Just here in Nairobi in Kenya, people are making moves. Same thing with street art. I think people can still make moves and pass,
There's a long way
pass
to
that
go,
message.
but I feel like we've started.
Oh, we've started.
Yes.
Yeah. I've been there. I mean,
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You just have to trust this artist, or trust that relationship.
Yes.
And see how you
And
can
trust
build.
the process as well at the end of the day, as cliche as it sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
I had
me.
an amazing time having this conversation
Yeah.
with you. It has been an eye-opener, I must say, because there's so many things that I've learned today through you.
Yeah.
And I feel wise too, if you know what I did there. But
I
yes,
see you.
You see it, right? Yes.
That's
But
good.
It's been amazing. Once
you.
again, thank you for coming to Easy Friday. Bupi Jetwa is the name. Wise too is what he likes to be referred to as.
Yeah.
And yeah, we really do wish you the best, and hopefully, you can have your art in all parts of the world,
I
every
hope.
country.
That's the mission.
That's the mission,
Yeah,
indeed.
thank you.
All right, so if you
Thanks.
were watching, I hope you enjoyed that. And remember, keep interacting with us. Tell us where you're watching from. The hashtag is Easy Friday. If you were inspired by him, by his words, by his art, talk to us and tell us how you enjoyed the show. And we'll make sure that, we have such inspiring conversations every Friday at 9:45 right here on KBC Channel 1. Good night, take care, have a fantastic Friday night. Shiksha Arora signing out. Cole Jacks up next with Disco Funk.
Follow on Facebook. DJ Cole Jax. On Twitter. And DJ Cole Jax, the Global Affair DJ.
Me, myself, and I don't need you. Okay. There's something about them looks deceitful. Yeah. What goes around comes around, come on. I don't fuss, I don't want drama. You know me and you know we know saga. We can go distance, lasting forever. Yeah. Manners don't deserve manners. Bad vibes don't deserve batters. Energy will run out and vanish. Cause when you step in, girl, you have finishing moves. Now when even brother really confused. The mother girl, they're mimicking you. It must be the Boeing